Coming up on Valley News Live at 10, mask mandate opponents deliver their message at several locations, including NDSU.
What led to Interstate 94 being blocked for 3 hours?
Plus, she's not in North Dakota anymore. A former VNL reporter is now covering Ida in Louisiana. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
A man is safe tonight in traffic, back open after people ran into significant delays earlier this evening. It took several hours, but emergency responders were able to safely talk a distressed person down from an overpass along I-94.
It happened at the Interstate and 45th Street South. Our reporter on scene estimates about 50 people sat on their vehicles watching what was happening and taking video. The man eventually climbed into the bucket on the ladder of a Fargo fire truck. Highway Patrol says several crashes happened during this time, causing additional traffic delays. During one of them, at the Cheyenne Street exit, a driver was arrested for driving under the influence of drugs. A crash also happened on I-94 westbound near the Tri-Level.
Mask mandate has got to go. Go home. Mask mandate has got to go.
Several NDSU students took a stand to speak out against the university's mask mandate. They marched through campus hoping to make clear they want the right to make their own choice.
Valley News Live's Nashay Taylor has more on their message and what they might do if they don't get what they want.
A group of NDSU students are saying no to a mask mandate.
I'm just very excited that these students have shown up to voice our opinion, and as students we have that protected right under the First Amendment.
Today they marched through chanting and holding signs, hoping to send a clear message to university officials.
We believe in individual freedom, and we really think that students should have a choice. We're all adults here, 18 plus, and we believe that we should be treated as such.
This group says they aren't against face coverings, but they say they do not agree with having their right to decide be taken away.
We are anti-mandate, so we want the choice, and we want to give other students the choice and the freedom to choose whether they will wear a mask or not.
An NDSU senior who is also a part of the Student Senate says if the mandate isn't lifted, they will take necessary action.
I'm going to be, along with some other student senators, pushing a bill through the Senate to recommend to Brashani on behalf of the students that we remove the mask mandate.
These students also say this rally wasn't just about masks. It's about standing up for all issues they believe in.
It sets so many precedents for other things. Of course, today we're marching for masks, and tomorrow it could be vaccines. Again, I want to reiterate that I'm not anti-mask or anti-vaccine, but people need to have that choice, and there's just a lot of precedents that it sets that we don't want to continue.
But now, these students will have to wait and see if their message made it across to university officials. In North Fargo, Nashay Taylor, Valley News Live.
Now stick with Valley News Live as we continue to follow this developing story.
Now, this was one of 3 anti-mask protests today in Moorhead. About a dozen parents showed up to the first day of school this morning with signs asking for the mask mandate to be dropped. And parents in Fargo were outside of Carl Ben Eielson Middle School. Signs there today said unmask our kids and let parents decide that. The conversations will continue tomorrow. The Let Parents Decide That group is holding a meeting from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn on 17th Avenue South. They say offering support for Fargo, West Fargo, and Moorhead parents. It's called Show Faces for Freedom.
We might soon learn the fate of the Africa Bar and Nightclub in Fargo. Tomorrow, the city's Liquor Control Board meets to consider the business's reapplication for its liquor license. On Wednesday, the full city commission will hold a special hearing to consider the reapplication as well. The club's liquor license was suspended in early July. This after a security guard was shot and killed in the club's parking lot in May. So far, no arrest in that shooting. Police also say the club has had several reports of fighting and underage drinking.
A Minnesota lawmaker recovering after she accidentally cut off 3 of her fingers in a power saw accident. According to the GoFundMe page for Erin Kogel, she was using her power saw August 22nd when she lost control of the machine and cut off her middle ring and pinky fingers on her left hand. A doctor was able to reattach the middle finger. She and her husband have a 2-year-old daughter.
Manslaughter charges have been filed against the man police say punched another man last weekend at a West Fargo bar, sending him to the ICU where he later died. 53-year-old Roberto Bobby Balboa spent more than a week in the hospital and died Saturday afternoon. The man accused in the case, 35-year-old Tomas Cervantes. He is charged with manslaughter and aggravated assault. Investigators say one man pushed Balboa, and when he turned around to see who shoved him, he was struck by Cervantes, causing Balboa to hit his head on the concrete floor.
But I would just reassure our community in West Fargo here that this, again, very isolated, and they shouldn't be concerned about going out.
Now, funeral arrangements have not yet been made for Balboa. He leaves behind 6 children as well as his wife of more than 20 years.
No charges will be filed against a dog kennel in Milnor after a dog's sudden death. The Sargent County State's attorney tells us the evidence does not support any criminal charges. That investigation began late last month after a man's Facebook post went viral claiming the kennel's maltreatment played a role in his 4-year-old Siberian Husky's death. You can read more on that on our website, valleynewslive.com. And if you need help with an issue in your community, call our whistleblower hotline. The number there is 701-237-6576 and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will get on the case.
We are learning disturbing new details tonight about the man suspected of entering a West Fargo home last week before running away after being confronted by the homeowner's dogs. Police say it happened Friday at a home on North Pond Drive. Prior to that incident, officers were called to Mackenzie River, where a man matching the description of the home intruder walked out of the restaurant without paying his $30 tab. After that, police say a man with the same description was trying to enter guest rooms at My Place Hotel. Police eventually arrested 51-year-old Wisconsin resident William Thompson at Casey's on Veterans Boulevard.
The FDA approval of the Pfizer vaccine means a rush of businesses and colleges, including the University of Minnesota, announced vaccine mandates. The U is now requiring that all 50,000 plus students be vaccinated for COVID-19.
I think it's a good idea. I would feel safer on campus if everyone was vaccinated.
I'm strongly for vaccines for all these college kids.
I think it's a great idea. I think we need to do everything necessary to ensure that our children are safe.
All U of M students will have to file proof of their vaccination status by October 8th. If they don't, a hold will be placed on their registration and they won't be able to sign up for future classes. The U of M faculty and staff do not have a mandate, but if they are not vaccinated, they have to be tested regularly.
Hurricane Ida left behind plenty of destruction in Louisiana and Mississippi. The storm killed at least 2 people in Louisiana, but the death toll is expected to rise. Jason Allen reports from Baton Rouge on the search and rescue efforts taking place today.
Roofs are torn off homes in hard-hit Grand Isle, Louisiana, where about 40 people decided not to evacuate. In New Orleans, Hurricane Ida ripped apart storied structures, spilling bricks onto a car below. The scene is similar in Thibodaux, a partially collapsed building and crushed vehicles.
Yeah, it was like a bomb going off. We didn't know where it was coming from or anything. We just rushed to the back of the building when all this stuff was collapsing.
Water poured over a levee in Braithwaite. Although some smaller levees in Louisiana overtopped, none failed in the state, including in New Orleans.
The worst case scenario, it did not happen. We did not have another Katrina.
Black Hawk helicopters were among the first aircraft in the sky, searching for those in need of help.
The water just started rising, and we tried to get out, but the car just started floating.
Teams from 16 states are here.
Search and rescue missions, saving lives is the #1 priority.
Another big priority is getting the power back on. More than 1 million people are without electricity tonight, with down power lines like this common all over the state. All of New Orleans is in the dark. This is one reason why. Ida crushed this transmission line that crosses the Mississippi River in the city. The power outages are hitting hospitals hard. Children's Hospital of New Orleans is running on generator power.
We have adequate fuel for a number of days to come. And you know, the longer this stretches on, the more concerning it could become for us.
More than 25,000 linemen from 22 states are working to restore the power, with more on the way. But it's a repair job that could take weeks. Jason Allen, CBS News, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
3 hospitals in Louisiana were evacuated and another one is clearing out tonight.
A former Valley News Live reporter is now working for WAFB in Baton Rouge. Callie Hubbard has been in the thick of the coverage. She tells us she's doing fine. She told Valley News Live's Mike Morkin this afternoon that the damage of Ida is so extensive that it's going to take weeks just to get the power back on for many.
It's crazy. And right before they said, get food, get water, get fuel, because you don't know when the power's going to come back on. If I wanted to, I can't go grocery shopping right now. I have the food that's here, what's left of what I haven't stress eaten. But in terms of, yeah, you don't know when that's coming back. You don't know restaurants or when you'll be able to get out. There's also curfews right now where you can't leave in certain parishes.
Callie says last night she was as scared as she's ever been. Winds at the time were 150 miles an hour. Windows were rattling. She says it sounded like tidal waves were hitting her apartment building.
Well, you can expect to see prices at the gas pumps go up. According to AAA, the national average is currently $3.15. An executive with Gas Buddies says he expects gas prices to increase between 5 to 15 cents per gallon because of Hurricane Ida. The storm paused much of the gasoline refining and oil production along the Gulf Coast. Shell, Phillips 66, and Exxon temporarily closed refineries. About 96% of the oil production in the Gulf of Mexico was also brought to a halt.
Still ahead tonight, which furniture company is offering up a deal where it'll now buy back your old stuff?
Plus, Nathan joins us with a forecast that includes a first alert weather day. Stay with us.